So you're interested in owning or potentially building an M113k platform car, and you're like, I don't know which one I should go for, or the better question is, should you even do this? Well, let's see if I can convince you or explain to you how this platform is. Now, we should start the video off by, first off, actually, what is the M113k? Well, that's Mercedes's or AMG's designation for the 5.4 liter supercharged V8 that's currently in this car right here. And if you guys don't know, a little bit background, this is my 2004 E55 AMG, which uses the M113k. Now, the E-Class isn't the only car that uses this platform, and that's kind of where I want to start off. The first thing that you should know is, at this point, you're going to be buying a 20-year-old, potentially a little bit older car, so it's going to have issues. I mean, that's the first thing you should understand when you're deciding if you want to build an M113k car for a drag build, power, or if you're just looking for like a fun, you know, sedan or a fun roadster. You need to understand, these are old cars. They're very heavily engineered, as all German cars are, so they're gonna have problems. That's the first things first. You have to understand that, and once you get past that hurdle and you decide that you want to burn money, then you got to start thinking about which platform you want. So, as I said, this right here is a Mercedes E55 AMG. Its designation is the W211, and this platform was produced between 2003 to 2006, and this was by far the cheapest M113k that you could have gotten. E-Class, the E-Class is Mercedes' sort of mid-ranged full-size sedan. It competes with things like BMW 5 Series, Audi A6, things like that. So it's a decent four-door sedan. It's a good family car. Well, this one's a lot faster than a regular family car, but that, you get the idea. Now, you could also get the flagship, the S55. That was produced, again, 2003 to 06. You guys will notice the M113k was around from 2003 to 2008, and we'll get to 2008 in a second, but you could get the flagship. The S55 is the flagship. Now, that one's probably gonna be the most finicky, or actually not the most, but pretty much one of the most finicky ones, because that one has what is known as ABC suspension. That's Mercedes's hydropneumatic fluid air suspension. That is, what it works is one of the best suspensions I've ever felt or ridden in. I mean, it's literally feels like you're riding on clouds, and it's amazing. It is one of the best suspensions ever. The problem is, it's very, very finicky because it was very expensive to develop, and everything has to either work right or it's not going to work. So it's very expensive. It could cost you a lot of money. Most people delete it and just go to what they call air struts. You could do that. That's entirely up to you. I don't know. I don't want to make that decision for you, but that's up to you. But that's one. Another one is the CL55, again, 03 to 06. That's basically the S-Class, but two doors, same concept, ABC suspension. Another one that's pretty popular is the SL55. That one is a two-door roadster, hardtop, beautiful car. Again, it has ABC suspension, and that one also has the roof. So if that Vario roof has a little bit any issues, that's another cost thing. And then you have the CLS55. That's the rarest M113k car. That was only produced for 2006. They only made, I think, like 3,000 of them or something like that. And it's a beautiful car. It's basically the E-Class, this thing, but a little bit different styling. It's a coupe styling. I've actually had one on the channel. It's a cool car. It looks awesome. And yeah, I'm a big fan of the CLS. My daily driver is a second generation 2012 CLS. So yeah, that's another cool option. And then that's pretty much it. There is one more, but they don't really build them much. You, of course, also have the G-Wagon, G55 AMG. That one's from like 03 to actually like 2011. So I was wrong earlier when I said to 08. It's like 2011. So you could do that, entirely up to you guys. But let's move on to the engine itself. So the M113K in its, I guess, slowest variant, which is the E-Class, made 469 horsepower and like 515 pound-feet of torque. Mercedes lied. Shocking. They lied. This car made a lot more power than that, but they just had to say that because, you know, how is the cheapest E-Class going to be faster than their flagship S-Class? But it's 469 horsepower. Now, in other cars like the CLK DTM and the SLs, it went up to like 570. So, yeah. But the M113K is one of, if not the most reliable AMG platform that's ever been built. So what AMG did was they essentially took the M113K, which is a 5-liter naturally aspirated V8, makes like 310 horsepower, and they cranked it up to 469 in this case with a supercharger. They bored it out to 5.4 liter, different cams, a little bit of a different profile, and yeah, it's an absolute monster. This was the fastest production sedan in 2003 and 2004, so absolute monster. I love this car. This is by far my favorite car I've ever owned, and it was a dream car of mine. Now, the M113K is a very reliable platform, as I said. The engine itself is reliable. As long as you take care of it and you don't do anything crazy, it will last. My specific one has 189,000 miles on it, and yes, mine's rebuilt, but that was due to my fault. I crashed the car, I damaged the motor, so we rebuilt it. Before that, it made it 189,000 miles. It made all the power it made factory, and mine was modified on top of that. Now, let's talk about that, because of course that's the biggest concept of this video, is the modifications. These are very mod-friendly cars, and there is a massive modification community behind this engine. The biggest companies out there, you have VRP, you have WiseTech, I know you have FabTech down in Florida, they also build stuff for it. There's a lot of companies out there. So I kind of want to segue a little bit into what you should kind of do when you buy one of these. There are some preliminary things you should absolutely look out for, and you should build when you're going to be building an M113K platform car. So when you get one, I'm going to assume you're buying a stock car. Unless you know who built the car and whatnot, I wouldn't recommend buying a modified M113K, or just in general buying a modified car, because unless you know who built it, you know everything about the car, you're probably going to get a little bit, I don't want to say screwed, but that could happen. So first things first, you bought it a stock E55. I'm going to use E55 prices because I'm not too familiar with the other cars and kind of what they go for. Now, the E-Class here, to get a good one, I'd say with about like 90,000 miles, you're looking roughly around 15 to 20,000. You could find one cheaper. Sure, if you get a one with higher miles, you can get them cheaper. I've seen them around 10, 12 with like 140-ish thousand miles, which, by the way, guys, as I said, that's not really anything for these cars. These engines are great. But again, you could get one with those miles. Get one for around, let's just say 15. That's a good number, 15 grand. So you buy one for 15. It's a sorted car. It's nice. It's good. There are different specifications. The most common one is silver. This car is originally silver. That's like the most common color. You can get them in special ones. There are a couple of, actually there's like one special edition. It's they call it mocha black. It's actually like almost brownish black. Beautiful color. The interior is brown. It's awesome. They also did have special interiors. This one's just, most of them are black. You can get like two-tone blue, which is really cool. You can also get red. That's pretty cool. They call that, that's called like Merlin or Merlot something. Beautiful color. Those will command probably a little bit of higher prices depending on that. But let's get back to the motor itself. So you paid 15 grand. First things first that you should do absolutely is you should split the cooling system on this car. That's the first thing. So from the factory, Mercedes has designed it to where the supercharger intercooler cooling system and the engine's cooling system are one system. So the coolant for the engine and the supercharger is one, which it's not good because, you know, the engine runs a lot hotter than the supercharger does. So when you need to cool the supercharger to make more power, the problem is you're using the same kind of coolant. So as you guys can see, that can pose an issue. Now, here's what you want to do. VRP sells a great kit. The starter kit's like 150 bucks. It comes with everything you need. It's super easy to do. I have a tutorial on the channel if you're interested in doing that. Go ahead and check that out. I'll link it somewhere here. You can check that out. Another one is, if you could go a step further, get a split cooling system with a bigger tank. I have that now. It sits up there where the auxiliary battery sits in these cars. That's gonna run you about like $450. So it's a little bit more pricey, but you get a bigger basically amount that you could store. You get a bigger tank, more coolant. and it also serves as an ice tank. You can put ice in it and cool it off better. Now, you should also, what I also kind of should tell you guys is the supercharger system in this car is very cool. So it's not a traditional root style supercharger to where it's constantly on. Mercedes designed it to where it's essentially sort of like a AC compressor. That's the best way I can describe it. It's not constantly on. When the car's not under load, the supercharger is not running. So you have essentially a supercharger only after like 2,500, 3,000 RPM. Before that, you're essentially just driving a naturally aspirated car. It's a really cool system because if you start running a lot of mods on the car and you're pushing the engine, if it's too hot outside, the car's computer will actually cut the supercharger off to prevent the engine from grenading itself, from making too much, I guess, either leading out or whatever the case may be. I don't want to say some wrong information, but essentially it'll cut the supercharger out to prevent you from blowing the motor, which is great. That's awesome. Now, the most common mod that people do to these cars is a smaller supercharger pulley. Most supercharged cars will, the most common mod for them is to downsize the supercharger pulley. Currently on this car, I have what is known as a fixed pulley. So my supercharger is constantly on. Essentially, I deleted the clutch system, so it's just constantly spinning, and it sounds great, makes a lot more power, and it's not as finicky. It's just constant supercharger. So you could do that. My downsized mine to a 77 millimeter, and now it is cheaper to go fixed. So I paid about $300 for the pulley. That's just the pulley itself. You will also need to, at that point, downsize the belt because the belts are a little bit different, and so you should do that. That's gonna segue us into another very important mod. You're gonna need a belt wrap kit. Essentially, that's what it is. A belt wrap kit, what it does is it prevents slip from the supercharger belt. So obviously when you go with a smaller pulley, the belt is gonna start to slip at some point and it might actually throw itself off. Belt wrap kit will prevent that. VRP sells a great kit. That's gonna run you about 400 bucks, around there, maybe a little bit more. Don't cheap out, get a good kit. Now, speaking of pulleys again, you can go clutched, smaller clutch pulleys, they sell them. That's gonna run you, I'm gonna say about $600-700. So it's pricey. Clutch pulleys are pricier than fixed pulleys. That's just because it's a more intricate design. That's gonna be about $600-700, maybe a little bit more depending on the size of the pulley. And of course you will need a tune. You can't just swap the pulley out and start driving the car. It's not gonna work. You have to get the car tuned. My car is specifically tuned by Tony at Race IQ. I've never had a problem with the tune on the car. I've been happy, so I recommend Tony. There's other companies out there. Eurocharged, I know, does stuff. DTK does stuff. Vanos VTEC, he tunes stuff. I don't know about the other ones. I've never had a tune by them, but I know from experience Tony's tune is amazing, and the car's been great, flawless the whole time I've had it. So yeah, if you guys are looking for a tuner, look up Race IQ. I recommend him. I'm not sponsored by him or anything. I want to shout out people who do good work, and his tune's been great to me. Now, we've talked about the pulley, we've talked about the belt wrap kit, split cooling. Another thing you're going to want to do is probably an exhaust. Very common, a lot of people go long tube headers with these cars. I have long tube headers on mine. I probably should have also said I bought the car modified. I bought my car from the auction. You can check out the videos. There's a whole story behind this car, so check out the videos. But essentially, I bought it modified, which is what I said you shouldn't do. Don't listen to me. Just do as I say, not as I do. But long tube headers, those are going to run you about maybe 1,500, 2,000, maybe a little bit less. You can, of course, go Chinese off eBay. That's probably the cheapest route, and you could do that. Just know that when you go with that, it's going to be a little bit more work to put them in, because of course it's never going to fit right. So just know that in the back of your mind. You're probably going to have to mess with it a little bit. It's a little bit more finicky, but yeah, you could do that. They're going to run you probably like $600-700 on eBay. So that's another option. Now, my car is essentially long tube headers. I don't have catalytic converters on mine. Mine's decatted. I'm not going to recommend anything on that because I don't know where you live. In certain states, they're very big on that. Some states aren't. So yeah, check with your states, or that's at your discretion. Do whatever you want to do at that point. I'm not going to recommend doing anything to your car that, you know, if you think you're gonna get in trouble with it. Again, all of this is your discretion. If you wanted just a stock car, by all means, the stock cars are amazing and they're fast for what it is. So that's another option. sorry about that, GoPro overheated, GoPro problems. But as I was saying, my car is essentially straight pipe, and I have C63 mufflers in the rear. They just make it pop better, sounds better. That's another mod you could do. Those will probably run you like $500 to $800 used. I don't know how much, I don't even know if you could buy them new. You probably can't. And when I say C63 mufflers, I'm talking about W204 C63. So yeah, essentially those are pretty much starter mods. Now, all in all, if you've been doing the math, you're probably gonna, so you're gonna buy the car for about 15. I'd say for probably like another 5 grand, you could make a very quick car. Very quick car. I mean, these cars will run 12 seconds in the quarter mile, no problem with mods. So yeah, that's one thing you could do. Now, again, guys, at the end of the day, please use your own discretion. Do research. Don't just listen to everything I say. Do your own research. And then at that point, go ahead and do what you want to do. Now, the one thing is that kind of slows these cars down, or I guess the Achilles heel is the transmission. This is a traditional torque converter 5-speed. It's a transmission Mercedes has used forever. So it's not, you know, the fastest shifting one. You can do a transmission tune. I have a tune on mine. The best person I can recommend is TJ Mary. By far the best tunes when it comes to transmissions for these M113K cars. I have the SLR tune, so the car, and I can say the car shifts miles better than it does stock. That's gonna run you, I paid about $300 for mine, which is a great price considering how well the car drives after that. So yeah, all in all, I'd say for about 20 grand, you'd get a really nice car. Sorted car, it's gonna be great, it's gonna be reliable as long as you take care of it. And yeah, and these cars aren't very maintenance heavy. I mean, oil changes gonna cost you probably like 150 bucks if you do them yourself. Transmission fluid changes, not that expensive. The fluid's expensive, everything else is cheap. And then of course, just other maintenance stuff. The air suspension is probably the biggest maintenance thing on the E-Class itself. A lot of people out there convert to air springs or to shocks, just regular old spring and strut. I personally don't want to do that. I won't, because if the Germans spent millions of euros to develop this system, I'm not an engineer. I don't know better than they do. I love the way the car rides with the air suspension. It's just me though. Again, use your own discretion. But thank you all so much for watching this video. Let me know down below if I missed anything. I will link some of the videos that I mentioned earlier somewhere here or in the description. I love this car. This is by far my favorite car I've ever owned, and it sounds great. It is stupid fast for what it is, and yeah, it's an awesome car. Nothing else I can really say. But thank you all so much for watching. My name is Evo. This is my E55, currently on its 3rd revision. So the nickname of the car is the Missile. It's the Missile V3. Check out some previous videos if you haven't seen anything on this car, and let me know down below what you guys think. If I kind of swayed you to buy one, I love it. These are great cars, and it's an absolutely awesome platform to go ahead and build and drive and go fast. So let me know down below what you guys drive. If you have any M113K cars, I'd love to know what you guys drive, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Take it easy.